Welcome back to the Ashes Debrief. I've got two England and TMS legends alongside me, Michael Vaughan, Phil Tufnell. We're at the Gabba. The test starts in just a few days' time. There's a lot of talk, you two, on pink ball cricket. Do we need it? Do we not? Vaughany.
I actually think Joe Root was spot on. I don't think Ashes cricket or a big series against India where the crowds come in. I don't think it needs it for, would I dare say, lesser series that don't quite get the appeal for the supporters. I think it adds at night and more may come after work. But no, I don't think the Ashes actually needs it. And also it affects the bars in the place that we're playing. Restaurants.
They're all sitting there empty.
Well, unless they're doing a bit of breakfast in the morning before the game, and then they shut early here. So it's affecting the local establishments, which is not right.
And I've never heard someone come up to me and sort of say, "Oh, Tuffers, didn't we have a great breakfast?"
No.
You have a great evening, not a great breakfast.
Yeah.
Now, I mean,
there are some good breakfasts though.
Very nice. But also, it becomes a slight lottery, doesn't it, a little bit? Sometimes when you're bat and when you're bowl. I think the Ashes is so big, just keep it traditional. I'm a traditionalist.
Play in the day.
Yeah.
So there's room for pink ball cricket, but the Ashes stick to being during the day.
I think
I think so. I mean, that's pink ball cricket. Well, I guess
will it bring in more people? I mean, it was sold out at Perth.
Yeah, look, the Ashes get sold out. In India, when they're in town, it gets sold out. I think certain parts of the world, when the weather's guaranteed, getting a few more people after work, and the TV execs will be the ones that decide. If it works for them and they get more of an audience at night, I would suggest that the pink ball game will stay forever.
Well, let's talk about the England team because we're hearing rumours. We've got the rumours that Will Jacks is in the starting 11. What do we make of that? Because we're only one test in. It lasted 2 days. It feels like we've got a right flipperoo and we're changing the team.
A flipperoo?
I love that.
Well, they've gone with more batting. Will Jacks is a decent off spinner, but in these conditions, let's be brutally honest, he's a part-timer. They've pretty much backed Bashir for the last 3 years for the moment here in Australia. Clearly Shoaib's not either impressed them or they don't feel his style of bowling is going to be useful here, and he obviously doesn't bat. So England failed with the bat in Perth. They need more runs, so it looks to me like they've gone number 8, Will Jacks. That pink ball gets softer, easier to hit, and they need someone at 8 that can strike.
Is it a bit of panic, Phil?
Well, I think it's no, I don't think it is. I mean, look, it's hot. I know
it's panic, Phil.
Well, no, I don't think so.
Are you panicking?
Well, they've gone against themselves a little bit, haven't they? By thinking to themselves, right, we need a little bit extra down the back end with the bat. Listen, Will Jacks, decent off spinner, and it's hot. I know it's a day-night test match, but it will be played in these kind of conditions, and I think it will need some form of spin. Just
my concern, and it'd be the same concern if Shoaib Bashir played, is that England don't have a world-class spinner. And this pink ball does get soft, and you sometimes need that world-class spinner can just hold an end. And if you're rotating those 4 quicks and your spinner's not doing your job that you'd like as a team, then you've got the likes of Stokes, Joffre, who, let's be honest, both are injury-prone because of what's happened in the last few years. Those 4 quicks, they might have to do a little bit more work if they get after Will Jacks.
I think Jacks can do it, though.
Yeah,
he's decent.
I was going to say, Nathan Lyon's got such a good record here at the Gabba. When we're looking at our spinners and you're thinking, who's going to do that job? Will Jacks isn't that person that comes to mind, though, is he?
No, he's been picked up, I think. Listen, if you've been out here for a few overs, you know what I mean, and you see someone like Jacks coming in at number 8, crikey, we got to go again here if the ball's old and what have you. It's whether he can do that job, because they'll target him. The Aussies will target him, the likes of Head, Smith. They'll be saying, right, now listen, if we can get Will Jacks away for 3, 4, 5 and over, the other guys are going to be tired, so he'll be targeted, so he's got to be well managed.
Will Bashir feel a little bit hard done by? He's played in all the games leading up to the Ashes. He didn't necessarily have the game he wanted to when he bowled for the Lions and for England. Will he be thinking, hang on a minute, I've done all the hard work, I should be playing today? Yeah,
I mean, I look at last week, and if I'd have been Shoaib Bashir, I'd have been banging down Baz's door saying, I want to go to Canberra and bowl. Let's go and bowl with a pink ball. He's never played with a pink ball. There's quite a few of this England side, and that's a little bit of a concern that, by Thursday, there'll be 3 or 4 players that have never, ever played a game with the pink ball. Australia played 14, won 13. I guess the one kind of glimmer for England is the game that they lost was here 2 years ago against the West Indies, where Shamar Joseph produced an incredible spell of bowling. But I don't think it's quite panic for England, but it's clear that they've gone away from what they've been doing in recent times, which has always been, we just pick our best bowlers to get the 20 wickets. And this time they've gone 4 quicks and we've gone part-time spinner, purely to see if we can get a few more runs. There was Kevin Sinclair for the West Indies 2 years ago here, part-time offie. got a wicket, did a somersault.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
He got a 50. He got a 50 with the bat. So the West Indies used a part-time offie that worked for them. Maybe England have looked at that.
When you only bat for 70 overs in a test match, you know, you're then not going to start picking your spinner who necessarily is going to be batting 10 or 11, you know what I mean? And it's as you well know.
Need runs, Phil.
Need runs,
Need
right?
runs.
And as you well know, it's the spinner who always gets the boot first.
It is. It's hard. We're hard done by, aren't we?
we are.
Talk about Perth and how it only lasted 2 days. England going into this test match. Bonnie, I know you've spoken with the BBC on the website about this. Do they need to play differently in this test match?
Yeah, they do. You know, you're looking at any sporting team that plays one way. You know, if you just play one way, I think you're quite easy to prepare to play against. And that's what Australia will look at this England side. I'll give England a little bit of a clue. They'll go straight to start with because the pink ball might just do a bit. As soon as it doesn't do anything, they'll go into channel on length, pat the offside and try and force that big drive. Once again, here at the Gabba, like Perth, not quite as steep the bounce here at the Gabba than it was at Perth. Length balls, spraying with a straight bat, snicking.
Yeah.
You're snicking. You've got to wait for the cut shot, the pull shots, and those 45-degree angled drives through the offside are fine. But if you start playing the traditional way here at the Gabba with that extra little bit of tennis ball bounce, the Australian slips will be waiting like this. And they don't drop many.
I hope they're not looking at me when they're doing that and looking down the wicket.
Yeah, they'll be there ready.
Tuppers, what do you think England need to do differently? Obviously, they've taken on that short ball, but do they need to be a bit more patient?
Well, yeah, just a little bit more patience. You know, just occupy the crease a little bit. I'm not saying it's negative. I don't want them to be negative. If the full ball's up there, put it away. If there's one short and wide, you know, give it a smash. But just try to get themselves in. It's so difficult.
Game awareness.
Yeah, it's game
Pick your
awareness.
moments.
Yeah, pick your moments and pick moments. I mean, that after lunch on the second day, if they would have just hung in for an hour and a half, it could have turned a flipperoo.
They have to change because if we're brutally honest, the last 3 innings in Test match cricket, the last innings against India at the Oval, they lost, 7 for not a lot.
Yeah.
Harry Brook, Joe Root controlling the game, played some shots, arrived them the last morning, 5 wickets India required, 30 runs for England, they lose the game. The first innings in Perth, they lost 5 for 12.
Yeah.
They were 160 for 5-12. In the second innings in Perth, they lost 9 wickets in a session. So this method, when the ball just does a little bit, it hasn't been working. And it's down to the team to just accept that they just have to tinker.
Yeah.
Just tinker
It's
slightly.
not negative. And it's not negative. It's not being negative. It's just get yourself to 20 or 30 and then let the Bazballers come out here.
But even when they get to 20 and 30, Phil,
Yeah, don't just go.
don't just keep throwing your hands.
No.
20s and 30s aren't going to win them games.
Well, 40s were in careers, don't they?
Yeah, correct. We need 2 or 3 of the England players this week, a couple in the first inning and maybe 1 in the second, to get a big 100.
Yeah.
It was only a few years ago that we used to talk about daddy hundreds. You know, and that's
I love
what
a daddy 100.
we need a granddaddy this week. Needs someone to step up, take responsibility. That's what it is.
Granddaddy.
Take responsibility. Get in.
I'm nearly a granddad.
As we stand here at the Gabba, it looks like a lovely ground. You know, it's empty, the seats look great. But on day one, it's quite an intimidating place to play. Vaughan, you've played here.
Didn't like it.
Why is it intimidating? Why?
Did you get any of
I've had 2 noughts on the
It strikes
I've
me
had
as
a
a play.
30 odd. Out naught in the second. He's played it one day against New Zealand here. Shane Bourne got me out first ball of the game. No, I hate it.
It strikes me as
first
one.
one here. I got the first test one here. Yeah, back foot punch off of the late great shape
What it
wall.
is, look, we're on the boundary edge here, and look how close you are.
Yeah.
You're so close to the spot. And
Hello.
there's, look, England have a lot of support here, but I've always felt the Bridgie crowd, the Aussies that come here, they're a little bit more vocal. They're a little bit more rough and ready.
Yes.
It's more like a football atmosphere.
Yeah, they're not like pure. Let's have this shot. You know.
No.
They'll get stuck into the England side this week. So yeah, you'd want to field in that circle somewhere close to the pitch.
Everywhere this England side will go, it will be hostile. And this is especially, as you say, haven't won here for 39
Hot as well.
hostile, and haven't won here for
39
39 years.
That's-
So they'll be playing on that. As you said, we're fielding down at fine leg or deep mid on or something.
Well, you basically
You
took
know,
one in the
We have a slight concern for those England fans that are watching this. The last time England came back from 1-0 down in an Ashes series, England came to Australia on a boat. 1954-55. They rode as Belfier. That was Len Hutton's team.
Wow, that's
Listen,
a
who'd
long
have
time
thought?
ago.
Well, 86, 87, when they won here, they won here.
Well, there you go.
There
They
we
won
go.
here, so there's time.
And when we won in 10 and 11, we drew here.
Perfect. There's hope. There's hope
Yes.
for all you England fans out there. It seems like such a long time ago, but don't forget, if you scan the QR code on your screen now, you can ask me anything Ashes related. Please, not your weird and wonderful questions, because I know some of you have sent those in. But Ziggy's been in touch and he said,
Ziggy.
how do you win at the Gabba? Nobody
Play well.
knows, do they?
Bit of patience, play well, get yourself.
Who played in 86, 87? Ring them up. Last time
That's where the
England
pig,
won.
was this where the pig ran round?
I don't know.
They
Was
were
it here or
the pig.
Sydney? The pig, what did it had? Eddie and...
Yeah, listen, the one thing about this England side is that all hope is not lost. This side can bounce back, and that's what everyone's here thinking about. They've got the talent in the side. They just need to tweak it a little bit, put some pressure on. The starts are always so crucial. If they can just get off to a start with the bat, they can beat Australia here easy.
They've got
Who are you just waving at, by the way?
a couple of Telegraph colleagues, Will McPherson and Nick Holt. England have all the tools.
Yeah.
They have all the tools. They have the skill. You can argue and make a very strong case that England's 4-7 with Joe Root, Harry Brook, Ben Stokes, James Smith, that's as good as we've ever had.
Yeah.
You could make that argument. The one thing I'll say to England is last year there was a pink ball game here. It was rain affected, but Australia, I think, were 89 for 3 after 30 overs. The ball was doing all sorts. And then from the 30th over to the 80th over, they scored at 6 runs and over.
Yeah.
They smacked it to all back because they earned the right. They didn't lose too many when the ball was zipping. And then once it didn't, not a lot, there wasn't any seam, there wasn't a great deal of bounce, they suddenly started to target and scored at 6 runs over. That is the blueprint here. You go after the new pink ball, you'll be looking at 67.5 overs of batting like we saw in Perth.
Well, speaking about Perth, it ended on day 2. 10,000 fans were in Perth. There's thousands of fans travelling here. Do the travelling fans add pressure, Tuffers, to when you're out there in the middle?
I used to love it. I used to love them. I used to love turning up to a ground. You're away from home. You're feeling a bit lonely, and then there's your fans. They give it. I don't know. There's a good partnership, or they're 100 for 1, and the singing and the come on, Phil. It spurred me.
Well, they were like, come on.
It was. It spurred me.
Give it a bit.
Give him a high five here.
And listen,
When you took your catch at Adelaide, remember that one? What a catch.
So of course there's pressure. There's pressure there everywhere. There's pressure in high level sport in anything you do. But to see fans, no, it's brilliant. The flags will be out. Everyone will be cheering on. No, so there's a little bit of pressure because you want to do well for them, obviously, but no.
They'll want this week to put right what was wrong
Yeah,
in Perth. There was a lot of disgruntled England fans. Understand when you get blown away in 2 sessions and lose a game inside 2 days. The England fans didn't want to be on Rocknest Island on day 3.
With the blockers?
They didn't want to be down there.
No, of course not.
What's that beach for? What was that one called? Cottesloe. They didn't want to be in that.
We had a good night,
we had a
didn't
great night. Thanks, Steve, for giving us that opportunity. But the England fans, I just felt they were like, right, okay, we've enjoyed this Bazball ride, but you've got to play with more sense.
Yeah.
Play with more sense. They have a great opportunity. They've got the team and the tools. Just deliver it. Just get them out of the toolbox at the right time.
Yeah.
They were using the spanner when they needed the hammer. I mean,
Yeah. One thing that the fans will be, come Thursday morning, they will be right
Jerusalem,
behind the lads.
Phil, that's
they
what
will
it'll be.
right behind the lads.
Well, Tuffers, Vaughan, Tweedledee, Tweedledum, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be doing the Ashes debrief every single day after the Test match, so make sure you tune in. The highlights there, 5 p.m. on the BBC iPlayer. We've got loads and loads of TMS podcasts. There's one every single day, so we'll probably catch you tomorrow.
by the way, this is a big ground like Perth, so don't hit square of the wicket in the air, please.
Keep it on the deck. Keep
There
it on
you
the
go.
deck.
There you go.
What they said.
Come on, England.